Profit maximization is the lifeblood of any organization. Today I'm going to show you how a couple of young entrepreneurs in West Virginia are doing just that. Before talking about specific entrepreneurs, the first thing that we really need to talk about and get an understanding of is what is really profit maximization. Well, profit maximization, by looking at the book definition, is actually a process that companies undergo to determine the best output and price levels in order to maximize its return. The basic profit equation is listed as pi equals total revenue minus total cost, and maximum profit occurs at the point where marginal cost equals marginal revenue. This graph shows the profit maximization point along the red line on the graph. The quantities that should be produced is the point where the marginal cost curve intersects the marginal revenue curve. The corresponding price with this quantity is the price that should be set for the profit to be maximized for that particular product. Now that we understand how profit maximization works, it's important for us to ask the bigger question, why maximize profit? One of the biggest reasons is that it makes the company more desirable to potential investors and also keeps our current stockholders happy while also attracting new stockholders. For entrepreneurs, this can get you on the fast track to success in the business world. But this should be the goal for every business that is created, even not-for-profits. As part of my career with West Virginia State University Extension Service, I've had the opportunity to be heavily involved with the Scratch Project in Huntington, West Virginia. The Scratch Project is a youth-based garden program in the Fairfield district of Huntington, West Virginia. As part of this project, over 40 inner-city youth, grades K through 8, learn the process of planting, growing, marketing, and selling fresh produce. Gardens have been created for these youth at the Barnett Center along Hal Greer Boulevard, the Fairfield East Community Center, and Spring Hill Elementary. We are currently in year 3 of the project, which was funded by a SciFar grant from the USDA. The goal of this 5-year project were to educate youth on how to properly design a garden, implement that garden, and then market the wares from that garden. The picture on the upper left shows a youth using an iPad to design a garden where they will be growing asparagus, carrots, and other vegetables. The picture on the upper right shows these youth working with Marshall University volunteers to implement a garden where they will be planting green beans with the idea of being the first to the market to achieve maximum profit at the market. The picture on the bottom shows the fall of 2013 harvest of sweet potatoes, which we will talk about in just a moment. Once the produce was grown in the gardens and harvested by the youth, the produce was sold at markets like the Wild Ramp in Huntington, West Virginia, and also other local farmers markets. Other sales took place directly at a market stand, which was constructed at the Maudella Taylor Garden, while other sales took place directly to groups who were hosting local food dinners. The entrepreneurial skills taught to the youth were done by Miss Gail Patton with Unlimited Futures in Huntington, West Virginia. The most successful project to date for the Scratch program has been the Sweet Potato Project during the growing season of 2013. The crop was chosen due to a lack of availability in the local market, specifically at the Wild Ramp. The specific varieties that were grown were researched and chosen by the kids. These sweet potatoes were available for purchase at the Wild Ramp in early November, just in time for the consumers in Huntington to get sweet potatoes for their Thanksgiving dinners. So how were profits maximized during the Sweet Potato Project? First, flyers were developed to let visitors of the Wild Ramp know that the scratch-grown sweet potatoes were on the way. The sweet potatoes were held in attractive containers compared to those of the other vendors. Signage showing how and where the crop was raised accompanied the sweet potatoes. And this signage also showed pictures of the children working in the sweet potato patch, just to show the consumers exactly who and where the products came from. To help the youth maximize their profits, market research was done prior to the placement of the sweet potatoes at the Wild Ramp to determine the average price of sweet potatoes at local supermarkets like Kroger, Walmart, and other local farmers markets. The approximate average price per pound was found to be $1.50. The scratch-grown sweet potatoes were priced at $3.50 per pound based on basic supply and demand laws at the wild ramp. All the potatoes that arrived at the market were gone within days of arrival. These photos show the arrival of the sweet potatoes to the wild ramp at Heritage Station in Huntington, West Virginia. The picture on the upper left shows the kids very happy as they arrive with their sweet potatoes to put them in the market for sale. They are also here with family members as well as Marshall University volunteers. The bigger picture on the right shows the kids putting the sweet potatoes in the various containers at the market as they're getting ready to go on sale. The picture on the lower left shows the flyer as well as the information that went along with the sweet potatoes to show the consumers exactly where, how, and why the kids produced what they did. The next young entrepreneur I had the opportunity to interview was Mr. Orrin Jackson, owner and operator of Mud River Produce. Orrin is an 18-year-old senior at Cabell Midland High School, where he is a part of the Cabell Midland FFA chapter and currently serves as their vice president. Orrin produces peppers, butternut squash, and other produce for Cabell County Schools' Farm to School program. Orrin Jackson of Mud River Produce currently sells in 3 completely different markets. The first and biggest market that he produces for is the Cabell County Farm to School program, where he sells peppers, butternut squash, and other produce, which goes directly into the school cafeterias in Cabell County. The next area where Orrin sells is in the wholesale market to grocery chains such as the Piggly Wiggly in Milton, West Virginia. His final market that he produces for is direct marketing through local farmers markets from Huntington to Putnam County, West Virginia. The Farm to School program is growing rapidly in the state of West Virginia. This program allows fresh local produce from local farmers to be introduced to school cafeterias in participating counties. Currently, Cabell County, West Virginia is one of the most prolific counties involved in the Farm to School program. As part of this program, prices are negotiated through contract by U.S. Foods and Cisco, and these contract negotiations take place every 6 months. The Farm to School producers are price takers in the market based upon the negotiated prices for each different product. The current price for peppers sold by Mud River Produce to the Farm to School program in Cabell County is 90 cents per pound. The wholesale market in West Virginia for local farmers consists of the produce from these local farms being sold to various local supermarkets at wholesale prices. Mud River Produce uses this market as a way to offset the delivery charges for the Farm to School program. Orrin's current location for these wholesale markets is Piggly Wiggly in Milton, West Virginia, though room for expansion would involve Kroger, Walmart, and other small mom-and-pop supermarkets located throughout the area. The current wholesale prices at Piggly Wiggly average 48 cents per pound during the growing season. The third and final market used by Mud River Produce is the farmers market. This again is used as a way for Mud River Produce to help offset delivery charges for the Farm to School program as the produce is delivered directly to each school. The various farmers markets in the area range all the way from the Huntington Farmers Market to the Putnam County Farmers Market. Typically, at these markets, most producers have to take the market price due to the increased supply during the growing season that is found at these farmers markets. The common prices during the growing season at the farmers market are 3 pounds for $1, or 33 cents per pound. In order for Mud River Produce to effectively maximize their profit, they need to evaluate the 3 different markets that they will be participating in. The Farm to School market will receive a price per pound on peppers of roughly 90 cents per pound, based upon the contracts that are negotiated. The wholesale market will create a price per pound of approximately 48 cents per pound, and the farmers market will be roughly 33 cents per pound. The direct expenses, such as plant material, fertilizer, labor, etc., are the same in each market, and each market is also going to incur the delivery expenses as well. Based upon these prices and the expenses that are given, the logical market to participate in is the farm to school market, where the market price is approximately double that of the other markets that we could be selling in. Mud River Produce owner, operator, and manager Orrin Jackson has been very successful during the 2013 growing season. Orrin sold nearly $10,000 worth of produce to Cabell County schools alone as part of the Farm to School program. Income from wholesale and retail sales paid for delivery and other expenses related to the Farm to School program. Orrin was the highest student earner in the state through the Farm to School program compared to other FFA students participating in the program across the entire state of West Virginia. Orrin has also been invited to speak at several Farm to School functions over the last 6 months to help tell others his story of success through the Farm to School program. So how are profits being maximized in West Virginia agriculture? Well, unfortunately, in many cases, they aren't. But these are two examples that are designed more at giving children access to fresh local produce in schools and communities, while also helping to maximize profits as much as possible. It is unfortunately very difficult to maximize your profits totally because you often must be a price taker rather than a price maker, and we're going to have the same exact expenses regardless of what price you're selling at. And West Virginia consumers often are not willing to pay a higher price for locally grown produce, even if it's organically grown. So now that the groundwork has been laid for these young entrepreneurs in Cabell County, West Virginia, it is important to look at what the future may hold for these kids. The Scratch program is currently educating youngsters about agriculture and business, while also giving them positive reinforcement and a sense of acceptance. It is the hope of West Virginia State University Extension Service that these youths will become entrepreneurs when they graduate high school and then college. Mud River Produce owner Orrin Jackson plans to attend college next year and focus on agribusiness management so that once he graduates, he can return to his farm and help increase profits and the overall success of Mud River Produce.
Below are the references used for this project, including textbook references, newspaper references, and also websites. Below is the contact information for the Scratch Project Coordinator Melissa Stewart and also Mud River Produce owner and operator Orrin Jackson.